Good morning, garden friends, and welcome to Sip, Sow, and Share, a growing garden community. I am so excited about how this series is going because based off of the questions, the trivia that we're doing, I'm learning a lot in regards to the things that are important to my subscribers. So let's go ahead and get started with some of the questions and trivia that we have done over the last 4 weeks. So let's go ahead and enjoy this. All right, so the first question was in regards to whether or not anyone was going to be working in their garden over the 4th of July weekend, either before festivities or activities that they ended up having. 75% said yes, and 25% said no. And this is the thing, I don't know about you guys, me working a full-time job, anytime I end up having free time, I am out working in my garden, creating content to be able to share with you guys. So let's read some of the things that individuals were going to be doing during the 4th of July weekend. All right, so some of the comments that I had gotten from individuals. Lynn had stated she was going to be doing her normal maintenance routine plus hunting down beetles to remove from her roses and her strawberries. Now, I don't know, and I think I had mentioned to Lynn that I have not been having any issues with the Japanese beetles this season, but a lot of other gardener friends, that is one thing that I'm hearing, that the Japanese beetles are attacking their roses and their strawberries. And then Carrie stated she was gonna be working out in her garden, but the spiders chased her away. And this is the thing, for somebody that grew up on a farm like I did, it is so funny that a spider will literally have me jumping out of my skin. Now, I won't kill them, want them moved elsewhere. But, I understand those fears of things that'll keep you out of the garden. So thank you too so much for your comment. All right, so the next question was a little fun. I had asked the question, if you stumbled upon a genie in a bottle that had one wish, garden wish, what would that end up being for you? Mary stated, stay outside forever. If she didn't have to deal with insects, she could buy, grow, build, and not be bothered by the outside bugs that you end up dealing with. And I understand, that aspect of the being outside forever. Emily said, a lifetime of wishes to help with her completing all of her garden projects that she has. And I told her, I said, now that's smart to be able, you got one wish, and you know what, I want this to be a lifetime. And to be able to work in your garden, definitely a good wish to ask for. Iris said, more plant space, more money, and extra help. She has many ideals in her head that she would like to create. And isn't that the thing about gardening? I know I am constantly looking at ways to redesign, my garden, or change my mind in the direction that I want my garden to go. So Iris, I am right there with you in regards to the many ideals that I have in my head. Betty said, a strong back to allow her to do all the heavy tasks, and this is the thing, like I said, gardening is not necessarily easy work, especially if you're doing it yourself, that depending on the terrain, depending on your weather, can add to the physicality of, working in your garden. NC Flower Girl said, blinders for her husband. I thought this was so funny because, you know, Kevin's sort of the same way in NC Flower Girls comment. You know, they have a very steep hill that she says is scary. And her thought process was to line it up with daylilies like Jenny has. But her husband is just not, you know, on board with it. And what that'll end up doing is giving them less grass to have to cover on that steep hill. And, you know, and see, Kevin can sometimes be the same way. It's like, why you want to do this? And just trying to, you know, reiterate to him and justify, hey, that's less grass that you have to cut. You know, because while we like pretty, you know, we want to make sure that we're doing things that's also going to make those chores for our husbands, you know, less stressful and also enjoyable. Lynn had said garden help once a week instead of once a month. You know, I think anyone that can have the opportunity to have that extra help, you know, I wish I had like 4 hands, especially with everything that I have going on. So that's really good. Shannon stated a natural privacy fence of green arborvitaes. I can just imagine how beautiful that would end up looking, Shannon. And then Kim said a longer planting season. And I can relate to that. As I've stated, we moved from up north in Ohio. That is the one thing that I do so enjoy about being here in Georgia is that I have a longer growing season and more options for plants. Well, everybody, thank you so much for, you know, participating in that little fun genie question. Let's go on to the next one. All right, so the next question was, I wanted to know what individuals' preference was when it came to gardening, whether it was containers, raised beds, or directly in the ground. And it was really interesting to see some of the responses, but I think probably my next question, and if those that participated want to include it in this, what zone are you in? Because I think that would provide me with some insightful information in regards to why you ended up choosing those categories. You know, as I stated, the choices were containers, raised beds, and in the ground. Containers was 28%, raised beds was 6%, and in the ground was 66%. And like I said, it made me think, okay, so what does that consist of? Because I knew in my garden, I use all three. And my raised beds typically are for vegetables, but I'm going to be doing some different things next season, where I'm doing a mixture of vegetable, herbs, and flowers. I do plant in the ground a lot of my shrubs. My limelights, my roses are directly in the ground. And then as far as containers, I use those as accent pieces, you know. So like I said, you know, for those that end up, you know, watching this, if you could put it in the comment, because I would like to know the reason for your choice and then also your zone, because I do believe that can end up having some impact on the decision that, you know, you guys ended up writing. So thank you guys so much for participating in that poll. All right, so our final question was, which hydrangea is your favorite that you have had success with? And the options were, and hopefully I will pronounce these guys right, Pelaris, which is the climbing hydrangea, arborescent, which is the Annabelles, the quinifolia, which are the oak leaf, the paniculatas, the limelights, and then the microphilias, the big leaf hydrangeas. And it seemed to be the limelights and the big leaf hydrangeas were the top choices that individuals have had success with. Now, I have a combination of the paniculatas and the microphilias, and also the arborescens. I do have Annabelle's. The limelights, it's a combination of the little limes, the lime primes, and then the standard, not standard because it's not a tree, the regular limelights. But then I also have the tiny tufts, which are the mountain hydrangeas. So Iris has stated that she has both the paniculatas and the microphilias. And then this is the thing, the fact that, we are in Georgia, I do find that the paniculatas are more successful for me, especially since I have a full sun garden. I think they just add so much beauty, to your garden. Well, guys, thank you so much for taking this journey with me. Hope you are enjoying Sip, Sow, and Share. And I look forward to you guys checking out next month's Sip, Sow, and Share on the third Thursday of every month. Have a wonderful day.